Hello, everybody, and welcome to our special summer series event. Something new that I'm doing. Last year, we did people who wrote books and authors. This year, we are doing interviews with wonderful people. And today, we have Queen Mother Miata. And she is an inspiration, master divinity teacher, and so we're excited to bring her. Let me read a little bit about her. Divinity teacher, humanitarian, social entrepreneur, founder of the National Parent Education Center, and Parents the Power LLC. She uses her gifts to aid parents and youth to live their greatest potential. Wow, wow, that's amazing. She's in the back room. Let's go ahead and bring her out in here, and we will know her here. In three, two, you. How are you, Queen Mother?
I I am doing very well in Grand Rising, and I'm going to say Hetepu Kingdom. Hetepu means peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.
Amazing. We all need that peace and blessings, don't we, Queen Mother? Right?
I,
What does yeah? What does peace and blessings mean and need is needed now at this time in 2026?
well, the ultimate peace, and everyone will have a definitive answer of their meaning, what works for them. So whatever works for them, that works for them. Okay, but the ultimate meaning of peace is, I would say, is moving into your creation or the creation, the Most High. I like to say the Creator's creation. Okay, when you are in that higher divine frequency, I'm sure we're going to talk about divinity and all that other wonderful stuff. When you are in that ultimate divine frequency, you are aligning with the oneness of what the Creator has created, and that is such a peace. Peace is a very high frequency. It is higher than the love frequency. Okay, so it's wonderful. You are in that wonderful kingdom state. And if I could just add one thing, I'm also transition. We founded One Nation Enlightened Global Kingdom. So that's a wonderful thing, talking about that divine frequency and getting into that higher frequency. That is such a wonderful, peaceful. It's a peace, an everlasting peace when you're receiving that messaging, and you could just hear the birds and everything. It's just wonderful. The,
Amazing.
the
Yes.
I want to say something else.
Sure.
The creator's creation is about construction. It's about construction. When I would teach biology, I would say, what is your body trying to do every day? And the kids were like, huh? I
Yeah.
said, it's biology 101. We don't want to brainstorm it. And I said, your body is wired to exist every day. The universe is wired to construct. It doesn't go around destructive. I said, your body doesn't jump in front of cars. It's wired to exist. So once you understand that divine, reach that divine frequency and start, walking and elevating your frequency, you get into the messaging at that level.
Amazing, amazing. That's awesome. And those are wonderful words right there. But let's go ahead and start a little bit in the beginning, a little bit. How were you as a child? Were you always this divine and always inspirational for peace as a child?
It's a very simple answer, no.
No. Good.
The reason is obvious.
Yeah.
Everything goes through a maturation process in the universe. Okay,
Mhm.
you're when you think about apple started off as a seed. So for
Yes.
every living thing, a tree, there's a maturation process. So there's a growth process. So as even what you call yourself, a divine entity, man, woman, when you're a baby, you have all of this time. You are growing into the fullness, the maturation, the maturity of what you have been designed to be.
Mm.
So I would say an obvious answer based is no. I was a baby. I was
Yes.
growing. I was growing. The wonderful thing, I had great guidance. So that was good. Great guidance. Mom and dad did a wonderful job of putting those boundaries in place and always saying and to reach your greatness, whatever that is. I didn't know what it meant at that time, of course, but I understood. And let me say, I didn't know what it meant. I knew based on their love they had for me, it was okay. I'm going to follow them like the ducklings follow the duck. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
yes,
amazing. And I want to say a shout out to Leslie Flowers. She comes in, she does the show on Mondays and Fridays. And Think and Grow Rich. Have you heard of that book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill?
I did.
Yeah, so she talks about that and his teachings about certain fears that people have. So she has a program on Mondays and Fridays. I believe it's 11 a.m. Eastern time. So she does the show on LinkedIn and also on YouTube. So she's amazing. She come in with a couple of comments here. Wired by our mind, messaging by our thoughts. So, yep, exactly. And what does like behind you there? I am divine. What does that mean? I am divine to the people who have not seen that before.
Again, whatever it means to them is okay. It's wonderful. But however, I am divine just means image and likeness of the creator, the short explanation of it.
Mm.
If one believes that they are made in the image and likeness of the creator, then the creator is divine, immaculate. Then I am divine.
Amazing. I also want to go back to your parents. You said your parents guided you and gave you good upbringing. What stood up to you now as a child? Something that your parents did to you that made you who you are today.
Well, the greatest thing, they gave me my lineage.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay.
I always knew, I would say, a lot about my I'm going to put it this way. Being an FBA, a foundational Black American in America,
Yeah.
you have to know that there are people here, blacks here, indigenous people here, and they were also people who came over force who were enslaved.
Yes.
So I had to, the greatest thing about my parents is that they didn't teach. Didn't teach that my beginning started from slavery. Okay. As a
Yes.
matter of fact, they were very understanding that we don't know the whole story.
Hmm. Okay.
We don't know the whole story. Therefore, in not knowing the whole story, be open to learning. Be open to learning you. The greatest thing that my mother would say was, they can take your body, but you have to give somebody your mind.
Hmm. Now, when you say they don't know the whole story, what do you mean by that? Do you mean the
We
whole
don't,
story about the slavery, about the them moving from Africa? Is that part of it, or which? What do you mean by that? We don't know. They don't know the whole story.
but when I say we don't know the whole story, she was referring to black people.
Okay, in terms of
Okay,
them.
we don't
Uh-huh.
know the whole story of the of if past America, past
Uh-huh.
this land. So
Yes.
if they teaching you that your story starts in slavery, we don't know it. Okay, we don't know the whole story. That's someone else telling you your story. You
Hmm.
have to be about the business of learning your story for yourself. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
and and I remember John H. Johnson, the publisher of Johnson Publications Jet Fashion Fair, in 1973, they wrote a 4-book volume on Black America.
Hmm.
And that took us across, when you read that, that took us at beginning, started outside. If you were on, if there's one part of your heritage that came in through slavery, And I'm
Yes.
going to say one part because there was a couple other parts of my heritage when I did the family tree.
Uh-huh.
The one part that came in through um, transatlantic slave trade,
Yes.
then that part went back to over the Atlantic.
Mm.
Okay. The
Yes.
other part of my heritage came from Morocco. And
Okay.
then another part came from the Cherokee Indians. So that Morocco side was proof that there were foundational Black people already here
Uh-huh.
before before the transatlantic slave trade. And when I say Cherokee, documented records, okay, of which one came out the five civilizations. And
Yeah.
then the other side came from Portuguese.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
And that was
Wow.
obvious because of the Portuguese trans in West Africa.
Amazing. Amazing.
Mhm.
I have a question from Leslie, but I just want to say shout out to Platine here, who is in I believe Zambia. So
Thank you
he's
all
he's
for
from
joining.
Zambia.
Yeah.
He's watching there live. What time is it right now in Zambia, Platine? A good friend and a good follower who hopefully we'll bring him on the show sometime in the future. So thank you for joining us here. Those are interesting information you gave us there. But Leslie is coming in here, and we're going to go back to what you mentioned here. Sorry. So, do you believe that the divine God or the universe resides in each of us?
Well, I'm going to ask first. I like the fact that he said God or the universe. I love that because as you and I talk, I'm big on making sure the openness of the creator, whatever word you use, is okay with you.
Yes.
Okay. I
Yes.
say net to the divine force within. I'm out of the belief category. I'm in the knowing. The reason why I'm in the knowing is because I teach the divinity, the creation of us, the creation, how we align with the universe. So not only is that's a higher understanding when you teach about the divine body and how you've been created divinely, like
Mm.
where's the celestial equator, and I talk about that in one of the videos I just posted, the celestial equator. I'm trying to think. I think I talk about. If not on there, definitely in the newsletters. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's more than just residing in us. We are representative of the universe. We are the universe. The
Mm.
what science, and I have to go into this briefly.
Yeah.
What science does is say that when you think of the universe, look up at the sky, look at outside of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. When you understand that the heart energy zone represents the vernal equinox
Yeah.
and the celestial equator, when you understand that your feet is the autumn equinox, when you understand that your sacral energy zone is the winter solstice and your crown energy zone reflects the summer solstice, then you can get into a lot of other different things about your body, what it can do, the frequencies and different things, elevation, and how that aligns. I teach this in the universal laws, the recreated ones.
Mhm.
Okay. Then you understand that when you come forth, you represent the universe.
Amazing. And I think you can align with Leslie. And Leslie, maybe if you're aligned with her, you can,
Hi,
she
Leslie.
does talk about universal laws and all that. So she other things, and so you can watch her program as well on YouTube. And so I'll send you the link. And so yeah, I think you might guys align in that sense. But let's go back to ancestry and all that. How important is that? I know you did a book here, right? There was a book that created and understood by our ancestors, the Black people. So that's how important it is for people to actually go back and for African Americans to go back and get their ancestry and where they're from. That's something important, right?
Well, not only is it for African Americans, I wouldn't say African. I'm going to say African American. I'm going to say Black Americans,
Yeah.
foundational Black Americans. I'm going to say if you call yourself Irish, Italian, or whatever you call yourself, it's important for you to go back and get your understanding of why you use those terminologies.
Mm,
I use the term divine, and I use Black because Black is biology.
okay.
Black is Black Kim Kemet. And when the Greeks study in the temples of Kemet, when they came out, they referred to that chemical blackness as melanin. So,
Mm.
and you have to have the melanin, the blackness in you, and because you're on Earth, and the primary energy that regulates life on Earth is the sun. So everyone has blackness in them. It's just a matter of knowing yourself, and that when you really understand the construction of why, because you have to be able to absorb the sunlight. So not only is it important for ancestry, it's important for your creation. And I really focus on understanding the creation of you. I think the ancestry is good. You should definitely know yourself in that respect. The creation of you is higher.
Mhm.
Okay. The creation of you is higher. So even though you go back to ancestry, and that was great for me, my mother used to always say, you have your hair is curly. It's not nappy, it's curly to protect you from the sun. So
Mhm.
she would go through how your skin is dark, because you have to absorb our history, our where we come from. So that's important, but it's also important to know your creation. And so um, black is not a construct. When the Kemites and people talked about blackness, is because of biology, which later was presented to the world as melanin Kemet, the land of black folks. It was called that because they understood, they studied themselves, not they studied themselves in the creation of
Mm.
who they are, how they are aligned to the universe.
That's beautiful. I like that your mom was telling you in a positive way about your hair and about that. So
Hmm.
that's amazing, because a lot of people out there are giving negative view of
Hmm.
African
Yeah.
Americans, what it is, and so that's awesome. Leslie's saying here that what she teaches universal laws, success principles, and mind mechanics. So maybe you guys can align in that sense. So,
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
and we have somebody here saying hi. I guess Divine, they misspelled it. Whoever you are, it looks like some
Grand
Rachel.
Rising, Grand Rising.
And rising to you. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Mhm.
So that's awesome. And so, when did you get? How were you in high school when you grew up after childhood? What was life like? Where were you like? And were you still having that divinity? And then we want to get into how you got your title of Queen Mother as well. So
Okay.
see where you want
I,
to start.
I always heard a voice.
Hmm.
I always heard a voice that I can remember,
Okay.
um, telling me you need to do this, tune in. And I was that kid, and my sister is listening.
Huh.
My favorite position was I can go to sleep.
Huh?
I go to sleep. But when I wake up, I might as well do what needs to be done. Okay. But
Yeah.
in high school, I went to a college prep high school. And this was a wonderful thing when I was growing up in the 70s. It was about quality education. They in Chicago, I went to a school called Lindblom Technical High School, college prep. You had to test to get in. It was wonderful. It was high academics. It was the Chicago school system. To me, it's a fabulous school system. I taught in other school systems because I used to say it doesn't matter where you're born, you can test and go to a very high quality school. I was just real. My father, he owned transmission shops. Back then, every African, well, I'm going to say Black American, had a basically that 9 to 5 and something they were doing out the house. So my mother, she sold. She worked for the federal government and she sold. And my father had his own business and he was a minister. Um, they were divorced. They were very involved. I I I understood church as fellowship. Okay. I didn't understand. I learned later the political understanding of church and how that whole term came into creation later. I don't think this is right. Well, if it comes up, it comes up.
Yeah.
Um, but matter of fact, it have to come up because they have to be some. We have to have some truths here.
Correct.
In the book Johnson published, it talked about the Catholic starting slavery. Okay. And when I was told by the divine, the creator, to go over to the Dominican Republic, I learned that church is a form, is really a Catholic um, building
Mm,
where Catholicism is. Catholic is the kingdom, the religion, the theology is Christianity.
mm,
So, like my mother said, we didn't know. Um, so that was coming in through a Presbyterian church, but she found new thought.
mm,
And once she found new thought, now give you some history. New thought is more Greek oriented because the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, is more Roman, Greek, and you learn the history here. And
right.
I always say you go back one step further, you're going back to the motherland, the continent. So new thought being more Western metaphysics. And
Mm,
that's where I was in high school and a large portion of my college career. And around 30 something, my 30s or 30, 38, the voice is still talking, taking me higher. And
mm,
I'm sitting in, at that time, temples. Okay. Temples mean teaching. Okay.
yes. Uh-huh.
Period. It's a teaching institution and doesn't, irrespective of what the religion is, in doctrine. Temple just basically means teaching.
Right.
By now, whereas church tends to mean more of Christianity. So
Yes.
I'm just listening, and I'm hearing something that's elevating me higher. So I
Mm,
couldn't ignore it. Okay,
yes.
I,
Absolutely.
like
It's
I,
something
like I
coming
said,
there, a voice, and you want to
right.
what that's coming in. Absolutely.
And like I said, it's a maturation.
Yes.
So being of the divine, if you knowing you the divine, and now knowing that you come in as a seed or a baby, and you going through maturation, I'm not going to stop my maturation. I didn't know that I wasn't going to stop it. All I knew, this voice is telling me what to do. And every time I listened to it, whether I was in high school or college, I did great things. When I
Mhm.
didn't, we won't talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. But when I listened to it, it
Yeah.
was a beautiful experience. And in 2016, finally someone told me what their voice was.
Uh,
And they said that's what some people call the kingdom. And I said, the kingdom. And in 2016, that's when I was introduced to the universal laws that the Greeks gave to the world, which
mm,
were more diluted than the universal laws that they learned because the Greeks studied in the temples of Kemet, and they learn a lot more. But under Plato's creation of the noble eye, I don't want to go into a lot of this. Under Plato's creation of the noble eye that he propagated to the world, a lot of stuff was diluted. So when you read some of the Kabbalions and even the Greeks, excuse me, and even the Bible, which Bible means book in Greek, when you start reading those things, it's a diluted version. But when you go back to Kemet, the universal laws are really talking about the creation of individuals. And that's one of the reasons why the voice is the whisper. And that's exactly, I like that the voice is the whisper of the universe. That's very good, Leslie. Thank you.
right
Uh,
at the second you said it, it came at the right spot. So
right, you came at the right spot.
yeah.
So that voice was like, okay, that's what some people label as the kingdom. And I was like, okay. And then something amazing. Before that, someone asked me, what did I do? And I opened my mouth.
Uh-huh.
And what came out was, I work for the kingdom. And I was like, where did that voice come from? And then 2 days later, someone said that voice is the kingdom,
Wow.
what some people call the kingdom. And I was like, okay. And I was given the first directive was from that voice. I was told to go to New York. I was guided to Harlem by the voice, and I was set down on a bench by the voice.
Wow.
And that voice told me these people could have written from the love or the hate in their heart. When they wrote from love, they created a light unto the world called the Harlem Renaissance. On the journey that I'm going to take you on, your default must be love. And that
Wow.
was my first directive. So that's when I accepted. I accepted, and I didn't know I was accepting. I was just saying, okay.
Yeah.
That was 2016,
10 years,
and
10
I'm
years ago.
listening.
10
That
years
was
ago.
10
Wow.
years ago, and I two things happened. I didn't know that I was at that time. I just said okay, and I also um, didn't know that I was recreating the universal laws more toward the comedic understanding, which
Hmm.
took 10 years to do.
Wow. That's
Mhm.
awesome. That's amazing. And ever since then, where have you evolved in terms of that? Are you teaching people? I know you wrote a couple of books. We can talk a bit about that a bit. In that 10 years, what have you accomplished in terms of writing books, teaching people?
I love that you said that. The first book I wrote, From Parent to Power, I knew I was going to write that book. And
Hmm.
that book was released in 2004. I knew I was going to write it because, and it talks about multiple intelligence. It's a third to fourth dimensional book. Because I wanted, when I would talk about greatness to parents, they would say, is there a book for it? I would talk about multiple intelligence learning styles and everything. And I said, I, if there isn't, I'll write one. I see. So I went to the bookstore, and it looked like a lot of people wrote their thesis. So I created and wrote through. There was a lot of other experiences that the voice took me through. Finally, said, "Okay, write my book." This, and that's the only book I thought I was ever going to write. Okay, someone asked me, "Do you write for teenagers?" I said, "I don't write for teenagers."
Hmm.
And in 2010, a young lady I was subbing, and a young lady um, in the classroom said, my given my marriage name is Austin. My former marriage name is Austin,
Hmm.
and they said, Miss Austin, if it wasn't for my mother, I wouldn't know what to do. And the voice said, shut up and listen. So I called up to the front desk, and she was telling me that there was a family event. She didn't know about it. The person who came in the room asked why she wasn't there. And she said, every time I go over my father's house, he doesn't acknowledge me. And I'm listening to what the voice tells me to do. And the voice, I said, have you ever heard biblical history? Now we in school, right? And
Yeah,
she said, like the Bible, but Bible only means book in Greek. Okay, so I said, yeah, we can
exactly.
start there. And I said, you have a Father in heaven. He acknowledges you. Your purpose is, you have a purpose here,
Hmm.
like on earth. And she said, okay. I realized later on, years later, that she probably was on the verge of deleting her life. That's all I'm going
Oh,
to say.
wow.
But when I went, that's years later, when I reflect back on that conversation.
Yeah.
But what I realized, the voice, when I said that, right there, the voice said, go home and write my book. And the book that came out of me was God Has Not Forgotten You. And then through another series of following the divine, the voice of the creator, the divine voice within, um, this, I was in a classroom, and literally this
Where?
image, this
Uh-huh.
image came out in my mind, registered in my mind. It didn't have the sun on it.
Oh,
And I didn't know what to do with that image until 2016. After I learned the universal laws, learned a lot in 2016, telling me your default must be love. I learned that. And finally, the voice said, go home and write my book using the universal laws. Okay. And
amazing.
when I look at that, the front part represent years later. The front part, we talked about this in the latest book I wrote, Permission to Be Great, actually represent the higher energy zones. The heart energy zone, you go through the throat energy zone, that's blessed and edified. You go up to wisdom, which would be the pineal energy zone, and guidance when you go to the crown energy zone. Didn't know that represented, but that came out. That's what happens when you follow the voice. And then the universal, like I said, 10 years to recreation of the universal laws. So at this time, the universal laws are available online.
Hmm.
And I give you guys that discount code is OMAR, OMAR.
I'll,
Um,
I'll put it there on there.
okay.
And if you
It's
put it in
available.
the chat box with the thing,
Mhm.
we
Yeah,
can put it.
it's available on the universal line on our website under the Temple of Amun Ra.
And
I
now,
was told and I was told this year I do not have to teach anymore the universal laws. I am now what
Oh.
Queen Mother Miata, that title came to me. I am to enlighten people on the
Mhm.
universal laws and their creation for them to go higher into the creation of themselves. And they will start to learn that pairing through the universal laws. And they will also start to see how much more detailed it is, um, which was and less diluted as what was presented out to the world through the Kabbalion. This is more about the creation of you. It goes into you,
Inside you.
and you will come and you will understand that
I
you
want
are
to
the
go back into that little chart there. So it's kind of so we have the sun there. Is that what it is on that little chart next to you? And then guidance is on the top. Wisdom.
yes,
Explain that for people a little bit about what that is. So that we have the actual sun there. Guidance, wisdom, bless, and
edify and
edify,
love.
and love.
Uh,
Explain that for people. Mm.
this is wonderful. When this image came into through a series of events, I was I call it a spiritual eviction. I was sitting comfortably in the job. A new administrator came and they changed. Now it's like I'm not going anywhere. It's comforting. And one Sunday morning, I heard the voice say, "Why are you giving them your power?"
Yeah.
And later on, fast forward, I learned that my power was my light that was giving somebody else to control me. It was time
Wow.
for me to move. So
Mhm.
I went to another school, another district. Eventually, that led me to go to another school, another district. And I was looking up, as I do quite often, like, why am I here?
Yeah.
And this would be great if, and this image came in. The first time the image that came in did not have the sun on there. And the initial book, Permission to Be Great, was released. And I learned well, it was released. And as soon as it was released, I heard the voice say, "You're not going to be able to sell that book until you transform." And I'm like, as many people out there who probably speak to the creator, like, okay, why do you give me this if I need to do this? I was like, are you serious?
Mhm.
and so I was okay. I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
Later on, 3 years later, because the book was first edition was released in 2017, um, based on the universal laws. But I was looking at the universal laws more toward biblical and more toward Greek, so Romans and Greeks. Um, 3 years was a journey from set 2017 to 2020 was a journey. Involved me going over to Commit, a lot of reading, a lot of divine. I'm not going to say not just spiritual leaders, but leaders of divinity coming to my life, letting
Mhm.
me know things, and basically they're on the path of guiding me, learning more about the ancestors, the elders who have done tremendous work. And it was like I was being guided. And then in 2020, after a lot of knowledge, it said, now go back and look at what you did. And I went back and it said the sun. And I said, wow, the sun sits right on top, because that is your oneness and understanding you are divine energy. You
Mhm.
are divine. Divine energy was actually removed from the Bible, that you are divine energy.
Mhm.
Um, and for especially people of who just beautiful Black people. Remember, Black is biology.
Yeah.
It's biological. To understand, when you understand you are divine energy, you get to understand if I push something, if I use my energy to push something, then I just can use my energy as a force. And so once you understand your divine energy, you understand that you are the divine force within, with the divine forces within you, and you are
Amazing.
the divine force within the universe, and the universe have these wonderful divine forces, and it's created to do what it's going to do. So my
Amazing.
role in that, and that's what a queen mother not only has that understanding, but another term that's more or less the English term. Some people call it um, Kandaki or Candaces, which was in the Bible. I like my spirit, my soul, my divine self is tells me to pronounce Kandaki. And that means a person who understands and wants to enlighten people about not only their divine energy, but that once you rise into that frequency, you rise into a whole different level of civilization, a divine civilization. So that's
Amazing.
where I'm now. Hmm.
Awesome. Thank you for explaining that. I want to go a little bit different and just ask you more about peace, and then also we'll show people your website
Oh,
a
oh,
little bit.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Let me just kind of move that over there.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is wonderful. Thanks for asking this question.
Oh,
It's a
no
beautiful
worries. It's
question.
brilliant. I know
Okay.
that
The
it
foundation,
covers.
love.
Yeah.
That's the lowest that you ever want to go in your frequency. That represents the heart energy zone.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a reason why I don't say the C word for the energy zones, because there's a greater understanding once you say the Kemetic sciences. Bless and edify, wisdom, guidance. These are the things that you should do every day.
Mm.
Every day, you deliver this. And the biofeedback is that it helps you stay in your higher frequencies.
Mm.
Okay. And
Absolutely.
there's a reason why, if you've got to understand how the universe has been designed and your place in it, that's taught in the universal laws. So, and these are, if you look at the mirror, MIR, mirror,
Uh-huh.
the apex of the mirror means ascension. Okay.
Yep.
And I would mind asking the audience, you know what mirror is? MIR. If y'all put that in there, that's the comedic word. That's the honesty of the word, because everything that our ancestors taught us had meaning. It's
Mm.
the most people say pyramid. Pyramid actually means flat cake. It has no meaning. Okay, that's a Greek word. So it means ascension. And so when you look at the four corners of a mirror,
Yeah.
then each one, love, peace, protection, provision. The foundation is peace. I mean, the
Uh,
foundation is love,
yeah.
and it comes up because it hits that. This starts at the love energy zone.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Amazing.
So, book
Amazing.
Permission to Be Great is a wonderful book to um, help one understand a basic of the universal laws, but more importantly, how they are to speak,
Uh-huh.
and not a detailed understanding, but it makes one think about what words, how do I speak in this higher frequency. And I love when I hear that people say, I read your book, I read it over and over. Each time you get a new meaning. So it's a wonderful book, Permission to Be Great.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you for
Mhm.
that. I want to now to go back a little bit different and talk about peace a bit. A lot of people are not at peace these days. They see a lot
Yeah.
of things. You know, they're anxious. They're that. What does peace look like to you? How important is that, and how can people have peace? I know it's a deep question. It's a very deep question.
It is a deep, and I'm going to go back to what I said. The best way, well, two things. Number one, you got to know your creation. You got to know what you're working with.
Hmm.
I'm
Right.
of the older generation when Blockbuster video came out. You
Yeah.
know, you got to know what you're working with.
Yeah.
Shake what the universe gave you. You got to know what you're working with. That's not what the
Right.
Blockbuster video says. It shake what your mama gave you, but
Yeah. Yeah.
shake what the universe created in you. You got to know what
Yeah.
you're working with,
Yeah.
and you got to know the creation of you. When you
Yep.
understand the creation of you, you get to say, "Wow, life." What the divine told me, and I had to explain. Life is a journey through the divine body. It has absolutely nothing to do with anybody outside of that. All this other stuff that's coming in, that's a reflection of how you think. Life is a journey through the divine body.
Mm.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. This is part one of Divine Civilization. It's on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you go to my YouTube channel, part one, and I talk about that, okay, in part one. And once it has a body there, it has the body, okay, the body. And once it's just beautiful because you're journeying through you. You're journeying through this magnificent body of creation.
Mm.
And I would think if I had to, and I recommend this a lot, people say, well, how do I start? I always say, get the book Permission to Be Great.
Mm.
I've had people, I thought I trusted them in terms of saying, you can go into the universal laws. And because they've done background on the universal laws, by the time they go into the second universal law correspondence, their mind is like, whoa,
Yeah.
I thought I had an understanding. And so I say, wait a minute, just hold up. Go get the book, Permission to Be Great. Because the first Permission to Be Great was written on the vernal equinox on the before day overtakes night. And then, so if this is the vernal equinox, the first Permission to Be Great was like this equal. Okay.
Mm.
The third edition went through a second edition. Then the third edition was when day overtakes night. And that's why that's why the divine told me to add the sun. And there was more put in there to understand that, a greater understanding of that light. Okay.
Oh. Mm.
So if you do that and you read a book, Permission to Be Great, you're reading a book that is at the level of day has overtaken night.
Yeah.
That means light
Wow.
has overtaken darkness. Okay. And it tells you what to do, your daily things that you should do every day: love, blessing, edify, wisdom, guidance. My five directives, and the audience can write this down. My five directives that was given to me, because I want them really to search their heart in terms of what directives were given to them, especially when
Mm.
you're in the practitioner side of in the creation.
Yeah.
My five direction: default must be love. Speak to everyone as if I'm speaking to the spiritual father. Now I say the divine spiritual father. Don't argue, debate, or try to convert. As someone who studies the seven major energy zones, they're going to love this one. Quickly get through your emotions and move forward. Move forward
Yeah.
means elevate, okay? Because they
Yeah.
know the emotions are down that lower energy zone. And always look up, which means always elevate. So, Permission to Be Great is that wonderful book, because it's going to come in right when day overtakes night. And that's going to give you a sense of peace, the way that book was written. And the only edition that's available is the third edition.
Amazing. Amazing.
Mhm.
Awesome. I want to go into kind of like a quick speed round for a little bit. Ask you more of I guess worldly kind of things, but also then go back and show you your website, show them and show
Okay.
them the YouTube channel. So just gonna have just fun with these ones. So, do you prefer sweet or spicy food?
I prefer organic food.
Organic food, okay? Something organic. So, if something organic, it could be something like an apple. An apple
Uh,
is sweet.
sweet. Yeah. Well, I love it all. I probably
Let
would
it
say
go.
more towards sweet. Sweet.
Oh, enjoy sweet.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
your favorite book?
My favorite book. I I think the Norm would say, well, my book, Permission to Be Great. Gosh, my favorite book. I'm trying to think of the book that I learned the most from.
Hmm.
I'm actually going to say the book that comes to mind right off the back is John H. Johnson, Make Every Wall a Ladder.
Okay, amazing.
His
And
his
then
his by Make Every Wall a Ladder. I think that's when I don't see a wall in my life. If it's a ladder. But I'm going to say early on. Early on,
okay,
that was a book that really got me going,
yeah,
in my 30s. That was the book,
got
Make
you.
Every Wall a Ladder. And I, that was the book by John H. Johnson.
How about music? Favorite music?
963 hertz.
Oh, and
And hold on. And I gotta give, if you want to know what I listen to, hold on. I'm going to tell
yeah,
you exactly what it is the most, because I want to get it right.
you give it to us.
Okay.
Okay.
Hold on. I want to tell you. Um, and this is by Comedic Legacies, Legacy. the four. I listen to a lot of the comedic legacy podcasts.
Yeah.
The four powers of your divine spirit, the three powers of your higher mind, and the four powers of your mind, the psyche. I That's what I listen to. I actually bought that, and I can't think of his name right now. Maybe by the time I look it up, I think of his name. I normally have it on the tip of my tongue, but
Okay.
I constantly, and my family would tell you that's what I play. If I'm not playing that, then I'm playing the 963 hertz.
Amazing. Do you prefer to be leading or teaching?
Repeat that, please.
Do you prefer to be a leader, leading, or do you prefer to be like teaching, a teacher? Well, they're kind of related in a sense, aren't they? In a sense, being a leader or being a one who instructs or teaches.
Um, I like both. I think they're equal. I like the teaching because everything that you say, you have to understand your audience.
Yeah.
And I don't take that for granted. I don't just throw words out there. The leader, as far as a leader, I always learned. I've lived by this philosophy. You can't be a great leader if you can't be a great follower. So I'm
Yes.
a follower and listen to the divine voice within the creator. And in that respect, when people look at me as a leader, it's always interesting because I said, and why? I always want to know what they're getting out of it. But
Mm,
I prefer guide. I like the guide part more so, the leadership in terms of guiding more so
yeah.
than leadership and telling you do this. That do this doesn't work.
Yeah.
Guiding.
Absolutely.
I live by my principles.
Do
Okay.
you prefer the mountains or the ocean?
The mountains.
The mountains. Why?
Uh, oh gosh. I love looking up. I love looking at the stars.
Mm,
So the mountains, if I look, just to look up and see the stars, that's what I love. So it would be the mountains.
amazing. And then one more here. Um, Give us a strength word, a word of strength for people. One word or two words that just inspire you.
The creation. I love the creation.
Amazing,
I
amazing.
love the creation. I love the creation, the oneness of creation. I love it. My my spiritual name is L for love, life, and light. My universal name is Mayata, with that energy of Mayat coming forth. And I I've learned that was given to me before when I was without the knowledge of what that meant. And right now, the oneness of creation. If there's any, what if someone asks me, what do I love the creation. I love you. I love the people on the podcast, and I love creation so much that that's all I'm going to love, life, and light, to respect and everything. I love creation.
That's beautiful. We all need that. We all need because
Hmm.
we're living in this world all together, and if we don't love each other, what's the
Hmm.
point of it?
Yeah.
We need to find our differences of who we are and where we come from, and love each
Right.
other because the Creator gave us that, and we have that in us. And so, why are we hurting people? Why are we shedding blood? Why are we blocking people? Families are torn apart. So we need to people like you, people like me, and other people who are watching. We need to bring this universal happiness and love for everybody. So that's wonderful. There, I want to just show people your website.
Hmm.
And
And
where can
scroll
they?
that down, son. Scroll that down.
Yeah,
I mean, go up, go up, go up. Show them again. Right. That's it. Know thyself.
that one. Okay, is
Right.
that the website so where they can put the code, the promotion
Oh,
code? You
so if you go to click on Temple of Amon Ra
okay?
and click on that, and you'll see what says the seven divine universal laws. No, go back right there.
Seven divine.
Hmm.
Okay, this one right
Hmm.
here. Okay,
Yes. And you scroll down, and once you complete set, once you go in there and make that, you'll see where it says to put the code in there. It's
click
through
purchase.
Vimeo. So Vimeo offers you a free account. You have to have Vimeo. That's how we distribute our videos. And you'll see where it says code, and that's where you will put the code WOMAR
Oh,
to
I
get the
see. Okay,
discount.
so share
Mhm,
this tab.
mhm.
Okay, so this one's it.
Right.
Okay,
Hmm.
got you here. Okay, and then this is the amount here. Okay, perfect. So people can
Right.
go in and do that,
Hmm.
and they can learn stuff, and that's
Right.
amazing.
Hmm.
I can't believe the hour is about to leave here. We just have about a few more minutes here. Tell
Something
us
you
your
th-
closing thoughts.
there's something you said that I want to
Yeah.
underscore. You said the creation.
Yes.
And this is so powerful because you said about the Almighty and the creation, how we treat each other. When you love the Creator,
Hmm.
when you love the Creator, whether you call the Creator Netta, God, Aman, Jehovah, whatever, you you have to make a decision. Do I love the Creator enough to love creation? Do I love the Creator enough to love me as a creation? Okay, me
Yeah.
as a divine creation, and to speak with that love in your heart. The first person it affects is you. The biofeedback always going to come back to you. It's not going to go to someplace else first. It's going to come back to you. It's a biofeedback that comes back to you, that frequency, that return. So you're not
Amazing.
doing it whatever you think you're doing to somebody else, you're doing it to yourself first.
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
In terms of like, if you're hurting somebody, you're hurting yourself, really.
You
And
hurt
that,
yourself first, yeah.
exactly.
Because
No,
you
you're
have to get
absolutely right.
because you have to get into that vibration, that lower vibration to hurt them. So you lower your vibration first to get there.
That's correct. You're absolutely right. And people
Actually,
do need
it's
reminders.
frequency. Actually, it's frequency because vibration is the noun, frequency is the vibration is the quality, frequency is the quantity. So yeah, so the energy. Yes,
So
yes, yes.
people do need that reminder. And so
Mhm.
I can't believe that the hour has gone way quickly here. Tell us your closing thoughts. And actually, I can end it with one question and then your closing thoughts. What would be one thing you would like to benefit humanity with? Something that has not been created, or something that might be created in the future that you would love to create, and then we'll go to your closing thoughts. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. The recreation of the universal laws, because now you get a rare form of how the teachings were taught in Kemet. And when I went back to Kemet in 2021, I rounded the curve, and the divine voice said, "This is the kingdom." And that was when I rounded the curve of the three mirrors of Giza and the Haru and Maket.
Hmm.
And what I feel that I'm given to now is the understanding of divine civilization. As a matter of fact, I was told that I'm here so people will learn more about, be able to know more about the universal laws, so they will be able to choose. So the
Hmm.
recreated universal laws, once they learn about themselves, the creation, now they're able to choose and to move into that divine frequency of divine, into divine civilization. It's not a secret. When you understand the recreated universal laws, and I can say recreated because I know what the other universal laws are. Okay, that's out there. Okay,
Yeah.
um, when you understand the recreated universal laws, understand how you've been created, all of this stuff, a lot of stuff that's supposed to be quote quote esoteric, it's not really esoteric. It's just science. It's just the science view. However, you will see it. You'll get to see, wait a minute, this is not so esoteric. This is not so mystical. This is just, now that I know how I really have been constructed and created, wow, it's not, it's why your prayers work, why they don't work, all that other stuff. It's, we talk about it's how the universe and you've been created, and it's going to be a beautiful understanding. So
Amazing.
to give them the choice, that's, I just love the fact that I was a part of the creator's creation to do this and to give people the choice to learn themselves.
Amazing. Yeah, well,
That's
thank you, Queen Mother Mayada, for being on the program today. You've been amazing. Last
it.
closing thoughts. Your words of wisdom are amazing. People can catch you. Actually, your YouTube channel is right here, right below in your picture here. It's your name and then speak. So put that in the YouTube. You'll find her. and she does a lot of wonderful programs about divinity and helping humanity and all that. Tell us your closing thoughts. I appreciate you being on this special summer edition of this series.
My closing thoughts is I think they're look, this is a good one. I think I love it because when I think of it, the creation always wins.
The creation always wins. You're
The,
right.
the creation always wins. My brother said long ago, God and you are a winning hand, and that is the truth. The creation always wins. So no matter what's going on in this world, you align yourself in the oneness of creation, which we call divine civilization, is a winning hand. Learn the
Mm.
creation of you. Creation always win. Always. It's set up to win. It's a beautiful thing. It's
Wow.
a beautiful
That's
thing. You're not. If anybody think they're gonna beat creation, nah, it's not happening.
for sure.
The
For
creation
sure.
is of the creator.
Yes.
The creator always going to win. So when you understand the creation, you start walking in the greatness, the creation of you, who you are. As my brother say, God and you are the winning hand. I'm here to say Netta and you are a winning hand. Almighty and you are a winning hand. The Most High and you are a winning hand. Jehovah and you are a winning hand. Whatever it is that you say, you and the Most High, the Creator, the Almighty, are a winning hand.
Amazing.
You are in the image and likeness of the creation. You are
Amazing.
wonderful. You are great.
Amazing, amazing. I love how you ended with that. Appreciate you again for being on the program. Stick around for a second as I close it with the audience people here who are watching. And we have a wonderful guest, and we had a wonderful guest. And check her out on her website, which is her name. And also, this is the YouTube channel. We'll be back next month, hopefully, for another guest. And may the creator be with you guys. And thank you again for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Queen Mother. And
I
thank you so
love
much.
y'all. I love you. Give yourself a hug. I just love you
There he
all.
is.
You're
There he
wonderful.
is. There
I
he is.
love you all. You're wonderful. Thank you for everyone who joined in. Thank you. Just thank you. I love you all. Just thank you. Okay,
Amazing.
thank you.
That's so
Okay.
beautiful.
Enjoy the
With that,
rising.
in those words, we really can make us happy. You know, one word can change somebody's personality. You know,
The
so
light is
that's how
inside
we
of you.
need that.
Rise. Let me say this: the light is inside of you. Rise that light into the higher frequency, and that's why we say grand rising, just like the sun. And when the tree
Amazing.
tells the sun don't rise, the sun will still rise. You rise into the greatness of you. You are
That's better
wonderful.
than even saying good morning, grand rising. It's amazing. Better than that, 'cause you can use that nowadays. So
Yes,
awesome,
yes.
and when you will we thank you for that. All right, I'm
I
gonna end
thank
the
you
stream
all.
right now. Thank you guys. See you next time. Bye.
Bye bye.